No, you're not unanswered. This is the Ray Lucia Show. Hey, John Bam Ransom co-hosting with Ray Lucia. If you have questions for the great man himself, he's going to join us after these segments, answering your money questions. To get Ray's take on your money questions, go to raylucia.com. That's raylucia.com. Hit the Ask Ray link at the top of the page. Well, it's Tuesday, so we're always happy on a Tuesday or a Monday to have our friend Lyn Rowe from I Want My LTC join us. You can call her at 877-270-3127 anytime when it comes to long-term care. Let's talk about kind of the hidden costs of doing it yourself, because there is a belief, I think, for most of us. We were joking a little bit before this segment. I was telling you, Bobby Wu, our producer, is going to take care. That's my long-term care solution, is that Bobby's going to take care of me. But there are real costs associated with asking a loved one to take over your long-term care for you. Besides the impracticality of it, it also costs a lot of money.
And not only that, John, but people don't generally ask. It's an implied kind of assumption. And I call it the designated caregiver in the family. Generally speaking, it is a single daughter, maybe a married daughter, but usually a female. I've actually had guys say to me, you know, I'm not married and I don't have any daughters, so I need to get long-term care insurance.
Oh my gosh.
Seriously. Now, that said, the statistics, and I have all kinds of information here today, but the statistics on a study that was cited by AARP recently found that 73% of adults expect a family member to be their long-term caregiver.
Wow.
Expect.
Right.
And so again, it's not a discussion that took place. It's not, a volunteer. It's, well, my daughter-in-law or my daughter or, whoever will take care of me. And that's a lot to ask from someone.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I think the problem is people really haven't thought through the actual real implications of it. It seems like, they're going to take care of me. I mean, they'll mean making a sandwich, hanging up their bath towel, all that kind of. But it's really a lot more that. It's a lot more than that, and there are some, as we said, there's some real hard costs associated with that.
Well, there are hard costs. There's also emotional costs, but we'll talk about the hard costs first. And in the same study, according to MetLife and AARP, the cost to an informal caregiver, meaning a family member, a friend, can be up to $303,000.
Right.
Now, you're looking at loss of Social Security benefits because of wages being cut back. You're looking at people being passed up for promotions.
Right.
You're looking at people who have had to leave the workforce early and retire early. We'll get to those stats in a little bit. But they've had to, not get the raises that they expected to get, passed over for the raises.
Right.
Everything.
Well, when a career is interrupted, it delays your development if you're not available.
They're giving up their vacation time to take mom into the hospital or to the doctor, or dad to the doctor. I mean, and it just goes on and on and on.
Right, and that $303,000. That's a lot of money. That is more than it would have cost if you just paid cash for a third party to take care of the long-term care expenses.
It's so much less expensive. I mean, even, if you're a adult child, and you've got parents that you think are at the point where they should have it, then by all means, it's an investment in your future.
And you're seeing that more often. You're seeing people come in who are buying policies maybe for an older parent who they think might have, not because they don't care, but because they do care. Right?
Exactly right.
Exactly.
They want to make sure that they're getting quality care, that they're not being neglected because mom's at home and I can't be there all day, so I'm just hoping she's going to be okay, or mom lives alone or dad lives alone. And I'll get there on the weekend and I'll get there in the evening after work, but I'm hoping he's okay the rest of the time. I mean, that kind of thing just wears on people. And so if they know that there is a professional caregiver who is there, who is making sure that they eat the lunch, that they take the medications, that they take the nap, whatever it is, they're feeling a lot more relaxed at work, and they can focus on what they're supposed to be focusing on at work.
Well, I mean, just from a cost benefit standpoint, if you're giving up $303,000 worth of lost wages, pension benefits, Social Security and stuff like that, it just makes sense from a practical economic
Very much sense.
So the question, I guess the thing is, and you've pointed this out before, if there's somebody out there you love who is not covered and you have the ability, you might think about covering them.
Oh, absolutely. I would no question make that part of your retirement planning for your parents. If they are older and it's gotten to the point where they could no longer afford it because they waited too long, or they're older and they're past the point of insurability, we have plans where we can actually get some coverage for them, John.
So from that standpoint, you were talking a little bit about buying, like in buying hours of care.
Yeah,
talk about that a little bit.
Well, there are plans. There's a plan specifically that enables people not to necessarily buy the discounted dollars that you would with an insurance company, where you pay X dollars a year, and when you need the care, they pay X dollars a month toward the care. A whole different paradigm shift. Okay, you buy a package of hours. And when you are ready for the care, you make the phone call. You are the steward of your own hours. You make the phone call. They send out professional caregivers. If you don't like the way that person parts their hair, you call them the next day and say,
Get me
86, yeah, get me somebody else.
Right.
So, and those packages are tremendous. I mean, the range is huge. So you can get a smaller package, or to supplement. Some people do this as a supplement to an older long-term care policy that they're not sure is going to cover the bill. Or you can get a package that's all the way up to 10,000 hours, for Pete's sake. So there's a whole range of hours.
What are the average costs for long-term care? I mean, for a person who needs long-term care, I know it's a dicey
Now you're talking
number.
about long-term care insurance, not the care.
No, just the care itself. Yeah.
On average, it's throughout the United States. I don't like the averages because some states are 100.
Right,
some cities, for example, in California, it's 150,000 a year for skilled nursing.
Right.
Same thing on the northeast coast. But when you get into the states where it's not so much cost, now you're looking at about $100,000 a year.
Okay, so
Now
$300,000 worth of lost wages versus $100,000 a year. Is that bad? And usually people
That's about what it is.
Yeah.
And the statistics, people always like to quote these statistics. Oh, it's the average stay is 2.5 to 3 years. Well, if we want to cling to those statistics, then there's your number, 300,000. But the reality is, according to the CEOs of the major carriers, it's 50-50, less than a year or over 4.
Right.
If it's less than a year, we know that could be, and it used to be that meant that the person passed away, but now we're seeing more and more and more people recovering.
Right. So I mean, I guess the assumption, though, is that a lot of people, they have their retirement plan, they're all ready, they've sat down with CFP. If they don't have the long-term care portion of it covered, they're really not ready for retirement,
And let's talk about what covered means.
Okay, we're going to talk about that when we get back. We're also going to talk a little bit about the emotional costs, because we didn't cover that.
That's right.
The emotional costs of not covering long-term care insurance. Hey, this is the Ray Lucia Show. We're going to have Ray's take on your money questions when we get back. RayLucia.com, that's the website. RayLucia.com. Hit the Ask Ray link at the top of the page. We will get to your money questions. I'm John Bam Ransom, filling in but not replacing the great man himself. He's going to join us after the jump. If you have questions, it's RayLucia.com. RayLucia.com. We're going to be back right after this.